Alright guys, today we're going to be talking about two different subjects, both pertaining to ancient Greece. One is Alexander the Great, which I'll give you a little information about today, but then we'll spend a lot more time on him later on, and Greek achievements. We're going to take notes on pages 68 and 69 of your notebook. Please remember that you need to write down everything that is in red. Our big idea today is that Alexander the Great built a huge empire and helped spread Greek culture and the ideas of the Greeks into Egypt and Asia. One of the reasons why Alexander the Great is considered great is because he had the largest empire the ancient world had ever known. And he was a big admirer of Greece. He had been taught and raised to think like a Greek. So, as he begins his journey going east, he models cities that are built for him after Greece. He's using Greek architecture in the cities. He brings Greek followers with him as his troops move to the east. And by doing this brings in the Greek language, ways of life, religion to these new places. But as Alexander the Great is going to be conquering towards the east, he's also interested in the cultures that he's being introduced to. Remember Cyrus the Great. When he conquered people, he was tolerant of the conquered people's religions, languages, and customs. Well, Alexander the Great is too. And so what we see is a mix of cultures, or a Hellenistic culture, which means Greek-like. Okay, so let's talk about some of those achievements. The Greeks are known for their achievements in arts. That included sculptures, paintings, architecture, and writing. The ancient Greeks were master artists. Their paintings and statues have been admired for hundreds of years, and we can still see examples of their work in museums today. Greek statues are admired because the sculptors who made them tried to make them look perfect. They wanted their statues to show how beautiful people could be. So to improve their art, the sculptors carefully studied the human body, especially how it looked when it was moving. Then they would use what they had learned to carve out a statue from stone and marble. So as a result, many Greek statues look as if they could come to life at any moment. We also have architecture, and we're going to be doing an assignment with architecture later on. But you may be familiar with one of the main temples of Athens called the Parthenon. This was created during Pericles' time, and it was a temple for Athena. One of the big things that you notice about the temple are the columns. So when we look at the columns, the rows of tall columns surrounding the temple make the temples look stately and inspiring. Greek designers were very careful when they measured the columns. They knew that columns standing in a long row often looked as though they curved in the middle. So to prevent this illusion, they made the columns bulge slightly in the middle, and as a result, the columns looked perfectly straight. And we're going to talk about three types of columns. There is the Ionic and the Doric, and then later on we'll see the Corinthian. Greeks were also interested in plays or dramas. These started out as part of their religious ceremonies. It was men that were the actors, and the actors would perform scenes in honor of the gods and heroes. And then this became popular forms of entertainment, and you can see a picture of a theater over here on the right. We have two types of plays coming out of Greece. One is tragedies, which describes the hardships faced by Greek heroes. And then another type is comedies, which makes fun of people and ideas. The Greeks were also among the first people to write about history. They were interested in the lessons history could teach. We also see over here on the left side the Greek alphabet, which may look a little familiar to you because the Romans will take that and add on, making the Roman alphabet, which is what ours is based off today. Out of Greece, we get the idea of philosophy. Philosophers believed in the power of the human mind to think, explain, and understand life, so they did not necessarily depend on the Greek gods to explain how the world worked. Some of the main philosophers that are well known in Greek history include Socrates. Socrates was a teacher. Today we call his type of teaching the Socratic method, so you might have taken part in a Socratic circle or Socratic questioning at some point. He taught by asking questions, and he would challenge people when they responded by asking more questions. And Socrates wanted to make people think and question their own beliefs, but eventually he made the elders of Athens angry. They thought he was possibly insulting the gods, and that he shouldn't be questioning the authority of the gods. So for these reasons, he was arrested and condemned to death. So he was told to commit suicide or leave Athens. He chose to commit suicide because he believed Athens was the best place to be in the world. Plato is a student of Socrates. He created a school called the Academy in which students, philosophers, and scientists could come together to discuss ideas. Then we have Aristotle. Aristotle was Plato's student. He believed that people should live lives of moderation and reason, and that they should try to obtain a balance. He was also the teacher of Alexander the Great. We also have contributions from the math, medical, and engineering part of the world from Greece. People were very interested in math in Greece, and one of those famous Greeks that studied geometry was a man by the name of Euclid. He was interested in studying lines, angles, and shapes, and many of the geometry rules that we will be learning in school in present-day time come straight from his writings. Greeks were also interested in the human body and studying how it worked. In trying to cure diseases and keep people healthy, Greek doctors made many discoveries. And the greatest Greek doctor was Hippocrates. He wanted to figure out what caused disease so he could better treat people. He is better known today, though, for his ideas about how doctors should behave. And in the field of engineering, we have Archimedes. So to wrap it up, guys, through the Greeks' art, philosophy, and science, the Greeks were greatly able to influence the Western civilization. We are considered part of the Western civilization, and if you can reflect on these inventions we've talked about today, I'm sure you can understand that all of this is still used on a day-to-day basis. Okay, that's it for me. Get what you need. Go back if you need to. I will post the video on Edmodo, and get ready to move on.